What is up, Planeswalkers? They're 6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. We're continuing our Guild of Ravnica mechanics budget lists, this time with Selesnya Convoke. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the great Convoke payoffs are rares and mythics. A lot of the build-up, the support is in common and uncommon, but a lot of the payoffs, Tristani and Imara, they're rares. So, this deck was incredibly difficult for me to do. I went through more iterations with this deck than the other two so far, and luckily, I think I've gotten it to a good point. Now, I'm going to start this off by talking about the lands. Now, the lands started out as 23. I was also running the 6-mana Loxodon with Convoke, and I still felt that I was running into too many lands. I was flooding out a lot. So I cut it down to 21, and I removed the Loxodon Restore. At 21, I felt I wasn't getting up to my 4 and 6 drop situations as often as I would like to. So then I upped it to 22, and I feel like this is a good place to be. That said, we're running exactly 2 Guildgates. And I think that's kind of the maximum I want, with the fact that this deck really wants to be playing on curve. Obviously, a lot of the mana costs for the Convoke cards are mitigated by having creatures already in play. So you can sometimes afford to run out lands tapped. That said, if you have the ability to, craft the rare lands for the decks that you know you're going to want to play. Even if you're not sure you're going to play the deck for a long time, if you know you like playing certain colors, craft those lands because they really help maintain stability, maintain the frequency of getting your land drops on time, getting the colors that you require on time. So that's just a new player PSA, essentially. Going into the actual meat of the deck, running 7 1-drops. Similar to the Mentor deck, Hunted Witness is in because it's very strong and sticky. Now, a sticky creature is one that is very difficult for opponents to deal with. If, for example, our opponent gets rid of Hunted Witness, either via blocking or for some reason with removal, we still have another creature. That's fantastic because it means we can attack with Hunted Witness with Reckless Abandon in order to trigger things like Haazda Marshal. Haazda Marshal is only a 3-of in this deck because it's weak. And by weak, I mean it's a small body. It's a strong effect, but it's on a small body. This card is almost always going to at least replace itself, which is very nice. If you're not going to get a 1/1 out of it, and your opponent has any blockers, don't attack with it. Even if it's just a 1/1 like a Llanowar Elf, and you don't think they're gonna get rid of it, the ability to create a token is so much more valuable typically than hitting your opponent for 1. That said, it's only a 3-of, it's not a 4, because of the fact that it just dies a lot, and it dies very, very easily. Moving on into our 2-drop slot, we have 2 Shannas. Why 2 and not 3? The reason is that Shanna is a legend, and I don't want to have a legend stuck in my hand. She is a very strong card, if we are able to curve out with her or get our token effects online, but she can gum up your hand, and in this type of deck, we don't really want that. We're running 1 Seal Away. The reason we're running 1 Seal Away is because I felt that against certain mid-range decks, Conclave Tribunal was not enough. I needed quite a little bit more removal. Things like Gigantosaur and Steelleaf Champion, those types of things can act as a weird roadblock. Even if you go super wide, if you're not going to be able to clock your opponent fast enough, just them removing blocking a single 1/1 each turn can really dwindle your forces. And I wanted to make sure I had the ability to remove those creatures that can do it. Now, why am I not running Take Vengeance? Because Steal Away has Flash. Take Vengeance gets rid of the creature permanently, but I like the flexibility of when I'm able to use Seal Away. For example, I can hold up Spore Swarm and Seal Away, and if my opponent doesn't attack, I can use Spore Swarm. Whereas if they do, I can use Seal Away and not feel like I've missed out, right? Saproling Migration is probably the strongest card in the deck. No, that's not true. Conclave Cavalier is. But Saproling Migration is a close second. The reason for this is it is functionally free if we're planning on using a Convoke card. The reason for this is when you get those 2 green 1/1 Saprolings, they essentially are 2 untapped forests. So what we do very frequently is we'll play a Saproling Migration the same turn that we want to play something like Conclave Tribunal or Sprouting Renewal. This allows us to add to our board much more than we usually would. A very fun line is when you have a turn 1 creature, whichever one, turn 2 Saproling Migration, and then you can, on turn 3, double up on Sprouting Renewal. I'm going to jump over to Sprouting Renewal because I think it's important to talk about why I'm running this card. There just aren't a ton of good Convoke cards at common and uncommon, which is why I'm running this card. Also, for the reason I said earlier, it is kind of essentially just a free 2/2 creature. You could even, if you needed to, play it on turn 2 after you've played a 1-drop. That 1-drop will tap for any color of mana, and then you have the 2 lands. And that's relatively strong, having a 2/2 with Vigilance on turn 2. You know, it's a little bit better than a bear. But it also has flexibility. We're not going to use it very frequently, but sometimes you can just destroy an artifact or enchantment. That has helped a few times against opposing Conclave Tribunals, where we get our Conclave Cavalier back. Very strong. Moving back over to Ledev Champion. It's not a very strong card by itself. However, since we are going wide, we did need some sort of payoff for our going wide token strategy. And I figured Ledev Champion was decent enough, especially considering it puts a clock on the opposing large creature decks. As I said, those do give this deck a little bit of a headache. So when you're able to have a board of about 4 other guys, this is going to be able to attack for 6 power. And that's pretty good. You know, that's kind of like the point at which your opponents are going to have their creatures on turn 4. You know, your opponent can have the Ferox thing, and that's about 6 power. So, you know, this is decent. Also, what we want is a mana sink. We shouldn't have to be using the mana sink on this card, the ability to create a 1/1 soldier. But if we have to, the option is there. Conclave Cavalier is essentially the backbone of the deck. It has Vigilance. When it dies, it makes more things with Vigilance. It's essentially the upgraded version of Hunted Witness. This card, if you can chain them together, is so backbreaking for your opponent to deal with. You can attack with this without a care in the world. Because even if your opponent blocks, not only are you still going to have the same amount of power next turn, but now they have 2 creatures to deal with that something like Flourish can take advantage of. Very strong card. Spore Swarm is only a 2 of in this deck. Now, Spore Swarm is strong enough to be a 4 of in these token strategies, in these Convoke strategies. However, we don't have the payoffs, and you really need the payoffs to want to have this card be as a 4 of. Now, where is she? Nope. Tristani. There we go. If we had the ability to be playing Tristanis, we would want 4 Spore Swarms, because the turn order of turn 4, end of your turn, Spore Swarm into turn 5 Tristani is backbreaking. It's incredibly strong against essentially every opponent, as long as, of course, they don't, have counter spells. But it's just a very strong line of play. Since we aren't running those, the card gets significantly weaker. Our only real payoff for going super wide are Shanna and Ledev, which are functionally the same, and Flourish. Those aren't strong enough, in my opinion, to justify the amount of the increase in lane count that we'll need to be playing, as well as the deck slots. So that's why I'm running them at 2. If you do have the ability to be playing things like Tristani Discornet, things like March of the Multitudes is also decent because it just is kind of exponential gain there, then I definitely suggest running more Spore Swarms. Definitely up your land count to compensate, but Spore Swarm for this specific build should be at 2. Flower Flourish, I have 4 of. I started this card at 3, and I found that this card is insane. You essentially only going to flower like once. Sometimes if you want to make sure you're hitting your 4th land, that is really like what the deck needs, is 4 mana. Past that, getting to Flourish is kind of bonus, but being able to cast Flourish is incredibly strong when you have about 5 creatures on the field. And with the amount of tokens that we're able to create, that is not hard. Our actual Convoke payoffs. Conclave Tribunal. It's removal. It's removal that can be played while still advancing our board. For example, if on turn, 3? Yes, if on turn 3 we play a Saproling Migration, we're going to be able to tap our 1-drop or our 2-drops and play Conclave Tribunal. So we're able to advance our board, setting up for potentially a Ledev Champion attack or a Shanna attack, while removing the biggest threat our opponent has, which is very strong. We also have Worldsoul Colossus, which is one of the weaker Convoke cards, but it was like the strongest it was like the strongest offensive Convoke card that they printed, which is a little frustrating, but this is almost always going to be about 6 power. You don't really want to play it under 4, or you don't really want to play it under 5, to be honest. And it shouldn't be difficult to have this be a 5/5, but it doesn't have evasion, it doesn't have trample, so it does get chump blocked all day. Now, I'm going to hop into some games. For full disclosure, I have already recorded this video. I recorded part of it, I should say. But my throat, for some reason, was just getting really phlegmy. So I had to stop recording, and I coughed for like 10-15 minutes. Going against Lou Snake? Is it Lou Snake or Lou Snake? Who knows? We have a decent hand. I should say, we totally won the game that I wasn't able to finish. This is fine. We don't have a 2-drop, which is unfortunate, but we only need a single other forest in order to play the Cavalier. But if we do get another plains, we can play the Spore Swarm, so this is good. We can play a Haazda Marshal on turn 1, but likely won't be able to attack. Our opponent mulliganed. And we'll go ahead and play this. They did top. You should make sure you know where your opponent is scrying to. It means whatever card they drew was sufficient. So as I said, I don't think it's correct to attack here. I think it would put me in danger. And if our opponent does play a 3-drop that is sufficiently threatening, we can play a land and Conclave Tribunal. That is not sufficiently threatening. It doesn't mean we're not going to be able to attack, but we're still going to be able to add to our board. Oh, there's Shanna. Shanna would have been better previously, but no attacks. They got the value out of this. They are absolutely going to block. They can just throw it away. Okay, Naya. Hello, Tristani. So that needs to go away, and we have a Conclave Tribunal for it. There's no reason to block. Ugh. They ramped that out. Now let's see. Shanna is not free. Let's see. So I could Spore Swarm here and tap the 3 plus Haazda in order to play Conclave Tribunal, and I think that's what I want to do. I could alternatively play Shanna. Wait, does that still work? I guess it does. Shanna would be 1, then 2, 3, 4. Actually, Shanna is the better play here, and this is why. Shanna will attack for a stronger amount after I play Spore Swarm. So I believe that Shanna should be a better play here. And I have to tap Shanna and Haazda. Although actually, I guess it is better to tap Ledev and Haazda. Because Shanna is larger. But go away, Tristani. So we're playing a similar deck. They're playing Naya Tokens, I guess? I'm not entirely sure. Opponent has 3 cards. We have 2 very good ones. We have 2 of our stronger cards in the deck. Ooh, and that's a dead Shanna. Very, very unfortunate. Interesting decision. So our opponent might just want to race here. I don't know if that's going to work out very well for them. I do think I want to Spore Swarm here first and get a big attack in with a Ledev Champion. And next turn I'll be able to get some value with Haazda, as well as play the Conclave. I believe this is the correct decision. Might as well attack. They only have 3 mana, so they can't surprise me with their own Spore Swarm. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm not worried about dying against a bunch of 1/1s. Even if they play another Tristani, that's only 2, 4, 6, 8. And I'd have bigger things to worry about. JK, I have another Conclave Tribunal. Okay. I didn't think about that. So, I mean, even this is another great payoff, right? But I'm still not horribly worried. Because I have this. So I'm going to attack with these. But I'm going to leave blockers up this time. I would like that to resolve first. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I would like to leave blockers up this time. I don't need to try and burst my opponent And I don't want to use my Conclave Tribunal until they have a single creature that's like actually worth it. Doing that on one of these is really bad value. Okay, see, like that needs to go away. Another elf, that's fine. It's a Worldsoul Colossus. So let us... And we're just going to tap our lands here. Worldsoul Colossus could, be played with Convoke anyway, so not tapping the lands doesn't matter too much. Do I want to play Worldsoul Colossus? I don't know. If I attack here, they're very likely to block Haazda Marshal, which I'm fine with. I don't want them to have nice things. So I think I am fine attacking with this. This is a free attack. I mean, even if they quadruple block, they have nothing up. They could have a single green source, but I don't think there's any good one. Yeah, I mean, if they quadruple block here, that's pretty bad value for them. So I'm fine doing this. That's fine. I will make this a 4/4, just to make sure that they can't gang up on this without taking heavy losses. 1, 2, 3. I'll have 4 creatures. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll still have 4 creatures back to make sure I don't die. Yep, pretty much knew that was going to happen. And, I mean, them chumping is great for me. I don't want them to have cards. Interesting. They decide to do it like that. So if I played Worldsoul now, it'd just be a 3/3, so I don't really want to do that. I'd much rather wait till next turn where I have access to my mana. See if our opponent has something else. Looks like they're flooding out a little bit. World Leader. Not worried about that too much. They could attack, but I have a really easy block here because I don't lose anything. It's so good. An unfortunate kill for us with the Ledev Champion. I still think it's a pretty easy attack here with Conclave. At this point, we do have enough for Flourish, so we would love to draw that. I mean, if they decide to trade War Leader without even attacking with it, that's even better for us. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. They didn't get any value out of the War Leader, and we still have our creatures. And this is going to be quite large. How large do I want to make it? I have 6, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seems reasonable. I could just up it to 10. I'd be down a lot of blocks though. I think 9 is fine. I think 9 is a reasonable amount. And we'll tap our mana first, just to make sure we don't accidentally overtap creatures. And we're tapping the ones that do not have the 2/2 stats. Our opponent has 2 cards, we have none. Hunted Witness, don't really care too much. And another World Leader, alright, reasonable. Another Worldsoul Colossus, very nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attack with this. Potentially put them at ease. And then we're going to play another Worldsoul Colossus. So they're going to get a little bit of value out of the World Leader if they decide to attack with it. However, I'm going to have bigger stuff. And I believe it's still 9. Yep, and then 6. So as you can see, this is a decent card. We have a decent route to a 9/9. However, they can just chump it all day long because I don't have trample. I assume my opponent's not going to attack. Yeah, didn't think so. We're going to keep the Force in our hand because we don't need to show them that. I don't need to stop there. I will attack with a single Colossus every turn. I'm dwindling their resources, but it's relatively slow. Our opponent could have another Tristani or another Angel anytime now, and they kind of just blow us out unless we get a Flourish, please. We are running for it. But our opponent, luckily, is drawing just about as bad as we are. So I'm gonna keep forcing them to lose creatures. Yep. And at a certain point, we're going to reach a critical mass against them, where it's unfortunate, where we're able to attack with impunity just because we have mathematically the ability to just kill them. That still seems like a terrible attack to me. because you get no value. You get 2 life out of this, which is fair, but you get actual no value here. You just lose a creature. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with my opponent's decision there. They gained a little bit of life, but I don't think it was worth it. Go and play a Marshal. And once again, I think I just keep attacking here. They have four blockers, right? So they block, and then I deal 5 to them. I don't think it's worth it just yet. I think it's still correct to attack them here. That said, I do need to win the game. So I'm going to attack with the other one. I have enough blockers that I'm not worried about them cracking back on the ground. I'm worried more about Sarah Guardian just getting buffed. But I think this is fine. And next turn, we can attack, I think with impunity. They play a creature that'll be on 3. They might not have to block that. That's the problem. I do. See, I mean, I'm running 22 lands and I'm still getting flooded a little bit. Yeah, so my opponent has vigilance, so I have to kill my opponent now. And that's not going to do it. You know what? I should have actually attacked with these last turn. Yeah. I think that's where I went wrong. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to kill my opponent. If they block those 2. So they have to jump there. If they didn't, oh no, I guess. Yeah, so I didn't actually do the math. They had to block both of these, or else they would have died. Okay. I don't care about doing that because I'll get another creature back if my opponent has some sort of weird board wipe. Nope, just a Hunted Witness of their own, and we win, which is always nice. Seal Away, hilariously, would not have helped us in that situation because our opponent's creatures had vigilance. On to the next one. The deck is incredibly straightforward, just like most of the budget decks are. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think they're a very good base to build from. And something I will be doing, going up against Rodrigo Rodriguez, something I will be doing is after the meta has settled a bit, and I've done all of the budget versions of these decks, I think I'm going to do a non-budget version. I'm going to do an updated version that runs rares and mythics. I think enough people have asked for that, frankly, that it would be something interesting to do. I'm going to keep this hand. Am I? No, we have nothing to play. We just can't keep this hand. We have nothing to play. This hand's like garbage, but we're going to keep it because we have stuff to play. And theoretically, if we get even just like another 1-drop, we can start making a stupid board position with Haazda Marshals. Well, we drew it up. As long as I would love for our opponent to not have like any creature here, for them to just play another like a tapped land. For me to just go wide as all heck. Don't play a creature. Don't you dare. Yes. Yes. You fool. They'll kill my creatures either. Oh, look at the value. That said, we're missing 2 green. We would like to play this, but we cannot. This is great. Yes. Oh man, that's funny. I don't think this is sustainable, unfortunately. Like, we're going to lose one here, but still think it's fine. Our opponent's deck appears to be very slow. And even with a relatively poor hand, we're going to be able to just attack the crap out of them and keep making dudes. Swarm them with 1/1s. So, unfortunately, if we had things like Radiant Destiny, I think most of these are soldiers, right? I don't think this is a soldier. No, it's a human. That's a soldier. So even like Radiant Destiny on soldiers, if we decided to narrow our focus a little bit more, that would be fine. There's a 5-mana Loxodon that gives all of the creatures that convoked it +1/+1, a counter. So even that would be okay here. But unfortunately, we just don't have access to that because it's rare. Oh no, a Doom Dissenter. However, will I cope? I'm just going to keep attacking my opponent. Don't you dare kill my Haazda Marshal. Don't you dare. How dare you, sir? Oh, he gave me a land. All right. Can't complain too much about it. Please, thank you. It's pretty decent. I'm fairly certain in this specific situation, I just keep attacking my opponent. I'm going to lose a single creature a turn, but I'm going to be dealing a significant amount, and that's a bad block decision, in my opinion, because I stay, unless my opponent plans on wiping the board, I have the same amount of creatures. So I don't know if I agree with that. Choop kills my Ledev. Sure. It's unfortunate because I would have been able to use that to continually make things. There's no way you attack here. Yeah. Sprouting Renewal is good. So I lose 2 creatures. I put them to 4. I have a 2/2. I think I still go all in. They really shouldn't block Hunted Witness. Did they learn? Okay, they learned. So I put them to 3 and play a nice 2/2 boy. Next turn they have to block this and this, and if they don't play a creature here, they die. Don't play a creature. I would like to win, please. Well, that's a creature and a half, I should say. That said, I might still need to attack. You cannot attack me yet. I would love you if you did. Darn. Okay, got another Ledev. That's good. Do I attack? It's very dangerous. But I feel like I do. This dies. These 2 die. They go to 1. They still have 3 creatures. I have 1. So this, 2 of these. I have this, this, and this. They have 3 creatures. Then I can't really get through. Whereas if I keep all of them, next turn Ledev can attack for 7. They only have 3 cards. I'm going to press my advantage, and this could be incredibly wrong. The thing is, we don't even have 6 mana, so we can't really take into consideration Flower, or Flourish, the Flourish side of Flower. So I think I do want to just try and kill my opponent. They've learned that they shouldn't block Hunted. As long as they also can't kill Ledev, I can at least keep getting more creatures out of it. Sure, that doesn't gain you life. Got a Worldsoul. Worldsoul could be a large man. Could make it a 6/6. I suppose that's fine. I'm putting my shields down for a turn. Let me just make sure. 1, 5, yeah. I'm putting my shields down for a turn, but I want my opponent to attack anyway. Like, I'm at 34. I don't think my opponent is going to do that. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand. They keep getting more blockers. I hate you. Can this kill creatures? No. Okay, I don't care. You can't kill creatures. I don't care. Yay, not a creature. Okay, so they smartly still don't attack. I can attack. I mean, this is Death Touch. I mean, I essentially just make a creature with this. I can attack with this, but it probably just dies to Death Touch, man. But that's possibly fine. I kind of have to just ignore Vivian. They block with Tyrant. Are you serious? Sure. I'm utterly fine with that. I have so much life buffer that I do not mind that in the slightest. This isn't sorcery speed only, right? No. Just for those of you who don't know exactly what she does. Okay, don't find a creature, please. Don't find a creature, find just a land. Darn it. Yeah, unfortunately we were just not able to get there. Our mana situation was poor. If any of these were a dual land, we would have been doing significantly better. And they can play the Carnage Tyrant here. And I think that's probably the end of the line for us. We're going to see what we draw. We could draw Flourish, but they just have enough blockers that I don't think it's going to matter. We drew another Worldsoul Colossus, but... Vivian Reed, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think... No, I think we're just kind of dead there. It's possible we should have mulliganed again. We did have a decent... Like, we started off pretty well. It's possible at some point I should have stopped attacking. But, you know, that type of line I think is relatively difficult to really foresee what you're planning on doing. And just based on the information I had, I think it was correct. I think we just had a few bad draws. Going against No Face Kaiju. Assume my opponent is a fan of the Godzilla series. And probably Pacific Rim. This is similar, except we have green. We have three plays that can allow us to play a fourth play with Worldsoul Colossus. I'm greedy, I'm keeping it. We're also going second, which matters because it changes what we're going to draw. I am going to... No, I'm going to Guildgate first. I'm Guildgating first because getting the 1 damage in, I feel, is less important than making sure I have mana faster. That's unfortunate. Come behind. There we go. A flower is great. A land is great. Any of those things are great, great, great. Looks like my opponent might be stumbling on land as well. But I can play this, and then I can play a Colossus. Now, I said in the DeckTech, don't play this for cheap. Actually, you know what? So this is another interesting impasse here. Interesting crossroad. My opponent is also stumbling on mana. If they decide to activate the imp, oh wait, they choose. Never mind. I was going to say I'd get rid of Spore Swarm. Next turn would be a 3/3. Right now it's just a 2/2. I'm going to play it now. And the reason I'm going to play it now is because I'm almost certainly going to be attacking next turn with all of these. Deciding whether or not to use the imp, I suppose. They could attack first. I don't have reach. They decide to use it first. I assume Ledev Champion? Maybe Cavalier? I'm so far away from Cavalier that I think the only real option here is Ledev Champion to force me to not have any good plays next turn if I do draw land. But their hand could decide something different. Conclave Cavalier is a very strong card against black decks. Alright, yeah, they make the decision I think I would have made. I got another one anyway. But yes, I think I am just going to go all in here. My assumption is Haazda Marshal dies. Yep. But Reassembling Skeletons will come back tapped, which means my opponent can't just block this every turn. And as long as... Sure. I assume you're going to take Ledev again. I assume their plan was take Conclave, but... Stop. I'm going to get rid of Spore Swarm. It's more likely to be cast than Cavalier. However, I'm not going to throw away the second Marshal. Am I? It already got me some value. should I throw away another Marshal? I mean, it's more than replaced itself. I think it's fine. My opponent is still technically stumbling on mana. They do only have 3. I also only have 3. However, my board is better. But I don't know how long that will last. Yeah. I have Seal Away, which is nice. If they do end up attacking us with something for some reason, we can go ahead and Seal Away it. I assume Worldsoul Colossus is dying? Nope, they decide to take the damage. And I have nothing going on, so go ahead. Yep, Skeletons, makes sense. Ooh, you know what? I wish I Seal Awayed that. But I could not, which is annoying. Yeah, that was frustrating. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to Seal Away it. I didn't react in time, which, you know, to be fair, is kind of my fault. But it's a little annoying. I'm going to attack. My opponent made a mistake. They should not have killed that one. Unless, of course, they plan on killing my board, which I don't think they're going to do. Oh, you know what? They might, though. They 100% might have Golden Demise. And if they have Golden Demise, I don't want to play Sprouting Renewal. I technically have them dead on board, even if they play 2 blockers. I think the correct decision is just to pass the turn. You want to make sure you know what your opponent might be doing. Okay, so Dusk Legion Zealot is a single blocker, and they lose a life. So they now need 3 more blockers. That's fine. Take my Cavalier, see if I care. You are dead on board. Okay. So technically, I didn't have anything to worry about, but if I had played Sprouting Renewal and they wiped the board, I would have had nothing going on. So you want to make sure you're aware of what your opponents could be doing to you. Let's see what we get here. A Mythic. A Mythic I'm not going to be using, but a Mythic nonetheless. Alright, so that was the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Easy Mode, Dizzy Fam, Radberry, Daniel, Flower Child, Chow83, and our newest and God tier patron, Zaraga. Every time I see that name, I want to say Zagara from StarCraft. I don't know why, but I just want to say Zagara. Anyway, I'd like to thank them. They support the channel. They make sure I'm able to play the decks that you guys want to see. Speaking of the decks that you guys want to see, Zaraga's patron request was the 1,000-Year Storm deck, and I know several of you have been asking about that in the comments. So guess what? I'm going to be making it sooner than later. As soon as I can, actually. If you guys would like to join them in supporting the channel, you'll find the link to that in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. Yeah, hope you guys liked that video. If you did, go ahead and tap that like button, add a subscription to your Manimal, cast a comment to the comment section down below, and until next time, all will be one.